How does a man who has everything, model looks, sublime style, likeable personality, greatest test point scorer, 3-time World Player of the Year, All Black Centurion, game-changing talent that dominated World Rugby, stay so humble? That's the Dan Carter conundrum.
Goodness gracious.
Naturally, when you talk about All Blacks first fives today, they're all measured against his mighty shadow. Do they kick like Carter, run like Carter, pass like Carter, and most crucially, can they tackle and manage games like the master himself?
Where McCaw's won it off them, gives it straight away to Carter, and there's some wide open spaces here, and Dan Carter's...
Nevertheless, here's the kicker. For all his ridiculous highlight reel plays,
So here the All Blacks, Carter, he'll do it again!
length of field tries, and searing line breaks, there was one aspect of Dan Carter's game that didn't come naturally: game management. When Dan came into the Crusaders, everyone saw these silky skills and flair, but the problem, they couldn't hear him. The small country kid hit a roadblock. The senior Crusaders had to yell at him to tell him to yell back at them. Young Dan was meant to be giving orders to the All Blacks captain, Reuben Thorne, crosscode Hardman, Brad Thorne, and even Richie McCaw. But luckily for Dan, he was a quick learner. His goal-kicking, excellent tackling, and ridiculous running and kicking game set him apart. Where did the legendary first five play? In his first 2 Crusaders seasons, he was the second five. His first fives were Cameron McIntyre, Andrew Mertens, and Aaron Major. Dan's Super Rugby performances were so good that he couldn't be left out of the All Blacks. And how did the young Maestro's 2003 debut go? DC was incredible. The key to his game, he was always positioned to run, and when he wanted to kick, he was still shaped to run.
Sends it wide for Carter, and that's a nicely struck.
But because he was a crazy ball runner, the defence had to expect a run or a kick. On top of that, DC was a super efficient tackler.
Into the gap goes Carter! Daniel Carter!
But as All Blacks folklore goes, they were humiliated in the World Cup. Eddie Jones's Wallabies booted the All Blacks out at the semi-final. It was a huge failure. DC was named on the bench, but coach John Mitchell never sent the young Maestro out. The result of the catastrophic Cup campaign, a full All Blacks rebuild. New coach Graham Henry looked at his first 5 stocks in 2004. The battle for the 10th jersey was officially underway. Henry and his team wanted to play more territorial kicking and emphasize set-piece dominance. With Carlos Spencer at the helm, the all-out attack of John Mitchell's All Blacks was shelved. Graham Henry's 2004 campaign was rocky. There were good wins against England with Spencer at 10 and Carter at 12, but DC still wanted that 10 jersey. The moment finally came when Graham Henry told the rugby world that Dan Carter would be the All Blacks' first 5. Henry envisioned Carter's huge left boot, goal-kicking and mesmerising running game as the key to unlocking his All Blacks game plan. But the critics had other ideas. He's not a proven first 5, too young, too naive. He wasn't even the first choice 10 for the Crusaders. Dan Carter's biggest test against Les Bleus, it was a beatdown.
Can't wait to get their hands on the ball. It's with Collins again. Quick hands, another try, and Dan Carter.
Redemption lay on the horizon in red jerseys and white shorts. Who better to match our young Maestro against than the whiz kid, the world's premier 5'8" in 2003, World Cup hero Johnny Wilkinson.
For the drop goal! Australia come back. Here it is for Johnny. Has he done it? He sure has! Heartbreaker for the Wallabies.
Dan Carter was completely dominant in the Lions series. It was a 2-game stretch rugby fans had never seen before. A 5'8" in rugby's biggest matches, belting the bully boys from Britain and Ireland. No one had ever seen a single player score game-breaking tries, kick all the goals, make all his tackles, and kick his team around the field.
Dan Carter kick and chase, and Carter scores! What a brilliant try for Dan Carter! And he got away from one, and he got away from more than one. That is incredible. Incredible. Ryan Jones.
Initially, the 2005 and 2006 All Blacks were revolutionaries, with Carter winning World Rugby Player of the Year and the men in black looking unstoppable. But rugby has a way of humbling even the mightiest. Subsequently came the dreaded 3 Rs: rotation, rest, reconditioning, words that still make Kiwi fans break out in cold sweats. The 2007 World Cup campaign, a disaster of epic proportions. 3 World Cup exits in a row, and this one stung the most. A quarter-final exit that had New Zealand rugby on its knees. Where was our champion 10? Limping off. The 3 Rs was a disaster. Fortunately, champions don't stay down.
Yet another super title.
Carter and his fellow Crusaders found solace in their 2008 Super 12 triumph. Yet, at All Blacks level, the skeptics weren't convinced. Could these players and coaches end the curse at the home World Cup? Then came the ultimate plot twist. Robbie Deans, Carter's legendary Crusaders coach, defected to the enemy, the Wallabies. It wasn't the best kept secret, but the defection hurt nonetheless.
Carter! Brilliant! Dan Carter pops it up. Nonu pulled out only a metre out.
The mastermind delivered a stunning uppercut with a 34-19 victory in Sydney. The timing couldn't have been worse. The All Blacks had just lost to the Springboks at home, and the critics were circling.
Little dart himself. Stretch for the line. Matt Goddard wants to have a look upstairs.
The 2008 All Blacks found their groove, steamrolling through the rest of their games. Yet 2009, the South African trio of Matfield, Botha and Habana ruled the rugby world, beating the All Blacks everywhere. Super Rugby, Tri-Nations, even in the Barbarians jersey. And where was our mercurial number 10? Nursing a snapped Achilles in Perpignan. But like all great stories, this one had another twist.
It's captain, but that's another wonderful break. Little chip and gather as well by Carter. Sublime stuff. Muliaina offloads to Reed.
Carter returned for the end-of-year tour, and suddenly the All Blacks clicked. After the heavy criticism and losses to the Wallabies, France in the box since the World Cup, Dan Carter's All Blacks suddenly looked like a brand new team. They hammered France, and the rugby world took notice.
All the tricks now, and he glides away, does Dan Carter, and he's got Kieran Reid outside.
Initially, the 2010 season was a victory lap. The All Blacks were untouchable, looking like World Cup winners and waiting and carrying on their end of 2009 form. The not-so-secret weapon, the most formidable inside-back combination ever assembled, Carter, Manonu and Conrad Smith. The quiet country kid had evolved into the conductor of rugby's greatest orchestra. Quick ad break, scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description to get your 2024 or 2025 All Blacks jersey. It's not just jerseys though, check out the Adidas Single Fern collection too. Just when everything seemed perfect, a brash young talent in green and gold emerged to challenge the master. Robbie Deans unleashed weapon Quade Cooper, a fleet-footed Maori boy with magic in his boots and mischief in his heart.
Now, quick hands! Chance here! Chance! Cooper! Down it goes!
The Wallabies served up a taste of the All Blacks' own medicine. The Hong Kong Bledisloe was a shocking loss. And Cooper, never one to play nice,
Australia! We're locked up at 24 all, kick to come! You want this young team to show a bit of pace?
Suddenly, the Wallabies looked like the spicy, red-hot favourites to win the World Cup too. Cooper emerged as the confident, explosive and cocky antithesis to Carter's controlled excellence. Meanwhile, the 2011 Crusaders faced their own challenges. Homeless after the Christchurch earthquakes, Carter's roaming band of warriors somehow fought their way to the Super Rugby final.
Now a nice flat ball for Carter, puts a little stab kick through, tearing after it is Gelfand, he's got it! Oh, brilliant!
Their opponents, Cooper and his red-hot Reds. Despite Carter's best efforts,
Phase after phase, now Carter with the kick. Carter! Absolutely brilliant. And he'll run it around.
The explosive, backflipping, breakdancing young Reds claimed victory, adding fuel to the brewing rivalry. But the bigger stage awaited. The home World Cup.
Now Carter, he's clear. Dan Carter and Israel Dag.
Fate had another cruel trick up its sleeve. The dream scenario on home soil turned into personal heartbreak. Carter could only watch from the sidelines as his teammates lifted the Webb Ellis Cup. Sweet victory with a bitter aftertaste. Then came 2012. Devastated Dan Carter roared back with a vengeance, claiming his second World Player of the Year title. In one of the toughest matches of the year, Carter knocked over a drop goal to beat a ferocious Ireland in Christchurch.
Another drop kick coming up on the left boot this time, and he gets it through Dan Carter, and they win the Test match.
Could they carry it on in 2013? This hardened world champion All Black side were special. The trio of Carter, Nonu and Smith now had a new weapon in lightning quick Aaron Smith. The 5/8 depth was ridiculous. Aaron Cruden, Colin Slade and the emerging Bouden Barrett waiting in the wings. They had shiny new weapons like Julian Surveyor and of course the incredible Sonny Bill Williams in between. The man pulling all the strings, Dan Carter. His 100th test at Twickenham should have been a fairy tale, but the script had other ideas. 25 minutes in, Carter limped off, not to be seen again until the following year. The whispers began, could his body make it to one more World Cup? The 2014 Super Rugby season saw a different Carter, playing at second five while Colin Slade ran the cutter for the Crusaders. They made it to the final in Sydney, but cruel fate struck again.
2014 ends like this for the star All Black.
Another leg injury, another heartbreak, another limping Dan Carter and a last-minute penalty kick that cost them the title.
Foley's got the legs. It's got the legs. The distance. Over!
Despite all the injuries and heartache, Carter announced to the rugby world that 2015 would be his last season in black. But was he still the All Blacks' best 10? Fans weren't sure his body would hold up. With his ridiculous work ethic, yet again the legend worked himself back to full fitness. It was the last dance. By now, he wasn't just playing rugby, he was conducting an orchestra with the precision of a maestro. Every kick was a calculated masterpiece, every pass a stroke of genius, every decision backed by years of triumph and tragedy. The quarter-final against France, a symphony of attacking rugby.
The call from Surveyor.
Now some room for Carter, the bend. Oh, brilliant ball to Savia! This is magnificent from the All Blacks.
The semi-final against South Africa.
Because you don't expect.
Oh, Carter whips off the wet grass.
A masterclass in pressure management.
He's down the middle.
That would make a bomb disposal expert proud. The final against Australia.
That's about.
Pure poetry in motion, written in sweat and determination. Gone was the electric runner of 2005, replaced by something perhaps even more valuable. A general who controlled every aspect of the game.
Oh, the drop kick by Carter. Got it. Nicely done, Dan Carter.
The tactical kicking was precise, the goal kicking automatic, and the game management perfection, with thousands of minutes of white-hot test match rugby under his belt. 2015 Knockout World Cup Dan Carter was his majestic final All Black form. Even after bidding farewell to the All Blacks, Carter wasn't done writing his rugby story. He claimed the top 14 title with Racing 92 in 2016, then added the top league crown with Kobelco in 2018. Looking back, All Blacks fans are unanimous. Through all the challenges to his throne, all the injuries, all the heartbreaking losses, Dan Carter stands alone as the greatest first five of all time. The skinny kid from Southbridge to the maestro of world rugby. We didn't even touch on DC's incredible success off the pitch. His journey wasn't just about becoming the best, it was about staying the best, reinventing himself and doing it all with that same humble smile that made him impossible not to like. And when the All Blacks lost agonisingly in the 2023 World Cup final, whose left boot did we all think about? The man who dominated the rugby world, Dan Carter's. Not bad for a quiet country kid who once couldn't find his voice. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button. I hope you have a blessed day.